I'm Claire and this is Top 5 Wednesday, Favorite Fictional Maps. As a huge lover of fantasy, this topic felt absolutely perfect for me and I was super excited to dive in. If you'd like to take part in this Top 5 Wednesday or any future Top 5 Wednesdays, I will leave the Goodreads group in the description box below for you to check. Now, let's get started. My first favorite map is the Map of Pern in the Dragon Riders of Pern series by Ian McCaffrey. This is a series that I read when I was younger and I was really obsessed with it. It was my first fandom in many ways, and it had a map of the continent of Pern at the beginning of the book, and I used to know that map very well because I read and reread and reread those books. So this is what the map looks like, and what I really like about it is that in the early books it's just a map of this continent, but as the series progresses and the characters do a little bit more exploring, we get a map of the southern continent of Pern as well. So you can see this is the same map as the first book, but the scale of it has changed and now it's a little bit smaller in the world, and there is a huge continent that's unexplored in the south and a lot of action takes place there. So that's really exciting. Also, later in the series we get to learn more and more about the founders of the planet Pern, and their names are used for place names in this book. So it's really exciting when you get to those books that are kind of more like prequels for the whole series and it uses the names of places that you know. It was just like a really neat trick that I had not seen before at that time. My second favorite map is in the same vein, and it's the world map for the Belgariad and the Orion series by David and Lee Eddings. I don't have the books with me right now, they are at my parents' house, but these are also books that I read when I was a teenager and that I read many times over. These books are a very traditional fantasy story in which a farm boy gets told that he's special, and then he gets to go on an adventure around the world with a bunch of sidekicks that all have special cool powers about them. I'm not sure that I would like them now as much as I did when I was first reading them, but at the time they were really important and I really appreciated the fact of having the map right there at the beginning of the book that I could refer to whenever the characters arrived in a new location. At number 3, we have a map that is not a map at the beginning of the book, but in fact a map inside of the story, and that is of course the Marauders Map in Harry Potter. I absolutely love the Marauders Map. It is not only a cool map because things on the map move to reflect real life, it's also a map that has several really cool properties within the story as well. The Marauders Map never lies. The Marauders Map also replies with funny insults when you try and force it to reveal its contents, and your name is Severus Snape. But it's more than that. It's also that we are introduced to the Marauders Map, and then it keeps making appearance after appearance after appearance in the other books, and it keeps being relevant. And when they made it for the movie, they had the most gorgeous design of it as well. I just cannot get enough of the Marauders Map. It is just beautiful. With my number 4, we are back to the map at the beginning of the book, but this one is not a fantasy. It is Arsenic for Tea by Robin Stevens, and this is a middle grade murder mystery that takes place in the 1930s. This specific book is a country house murder mystery that takes place on the family estate of one of the characters, and at the beginning of the book you have a map of the estate, so a map of the grounds and then each separate floor. And this was really a lot more useful than I thought it would be when I started reading. When I opened up the book and I saw this map, I thought, oh, that's cute. And then later on I got to really tense moments in the book where, you know, the characters are trying to sneak from one room to the other to spy on someone. And actually having the map there and being able to see, ah yes, they were in this room, and then they have to go over to this room, and they have to pass 2 sets of stairs, and here are so many ways that other people could, catch them in the act. That to me increased the tension and made it even cooler to read. And at number 5, the last map that I want to mention is probably not going to be a surprise, and that is the map of Westeros and Essos in A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I love this map, of course, because it's a map in a fantasy epic, and so many of the locations on the map are explored in the books, and they are such complex books with so much traveling in them that you do want to refer to the map. But what I also really like about it is that if you look at the map very closely, if you get, say, a giant poster to decorate your room, which is completely something that I want to do, you can see that George R.R. Martin, when he designed the map, put in a lot of in-jokes and side references. You can see that there are towns and entire valleys that are named after writers. There is a town called Tor, after the Tor science fiction and fantasy imprint, and those are all things that George R.R. Martin himself has confirmed. So you can find loads of these online because people have found them and cataloged them in a way that big fandoms do. And I just think it's a really fun aside when you're in this like super tense dramatic series about life and death and politics and magic. So those were my 5 favorite fictional maps. Let me know in the comments below if we've got any type of crossover, if you like any of those maps. And also please let me know if you've done this Top 5 Wednesday on your blog, on your YouTube channel, so that I can go and look at it myself. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check out more Top 5 Wednesdays here in the sidebar, like my top 5 most anticipated books of the rest of 2015 and my top 5 things on my shelves that are not books. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more videos from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.